You have the power within you to achieve anything you set your heart and mind to. Life may bring challenges and doubt may creep in, but the truth is, your strength lies in your belief in yourself. When you trust who you are, when you embrace your inner wisdom, you can manifest the life you desire. Today, let's take a moment to affirm the beauty and power of believing in yourself. You are enough just as you are. In a world that constantly encourages comparison, achievement, and the pursuit of perfection, it can be easy to lose sight of this simple truth. We often find ourselves measuring our worth against societal standards, the opinions of others, or even our own expectations. But the reality is that your value is inherent. It is not determined by how much you accomplish, how successful you appear to be, or how you are perceived by others. You are enough simply because you exist, because you are uniquely you. From the moment you were born, you are worthy of love, happiness, and fulfillment. No one is born inadequate, but as we grow, many of us adopt limiting beliefs. We internalize the idea that we must do more, be more, or have more in order to be enough. These beliefs often stem from external influences, whether it's media, family expectations, or cultural pressures. But these are illusions. Your worth does not depend on anything outside of yourself. It is something that has always been and will always be a part of you. It's important to recognize that being enough doesn't mean you are without room for growth or improvement. It doesn't imply that you are perfect or should stop striving to evolve. Rather, it means that your value is not contingent on that growth. You can accept yourself fully in the present moment while still aiming for personal progress. There's a peace in knowing that you are enough even as you work toward your goals. This understanding allows you to approach life from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. One of the biggest obstacles to embracing your inherent worth is comparison. We live in an age where it's easier than ever to compare ourselves to others, especially with the influence of social media. We see the highlight reels of other people's lives, their accomplishments, their joys, their seemingly perfect moments, and we use those snapshots to judge our own lives. But what we often forget is that everyone's journey is different. What you see in others is not the full picture, and even if it were, it still wouldn't change the fact that you are enough just as you are. Your path is uniquely yours and no one else can walk it for you. Another challenge is the fear of not being accepted. We often try to mold ourselves into what we think others want us to be, seeking validation from friends, family, colleagues, or society at large. But the approval of others is fleeting. It's impossible to please everyone, and in the process of trying, you may lose sight of your true self. When you realize that you are enough as you are, you can let go of the need for external validation. You no longer have to seek approval because you understand that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. You are already complete just as you are. To fully embrace this truth, you must learn to let go of self-criticism. It's easy to be your own worst enemy, constantly picking apart your perceived flaws or shortcomings. But when you realize you are enough, you begin to practice self-compassion. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to grow, and to be human. You stop holding yourself to impossible standards and start accepting yourself with love and kindness. This shift in mindset opens the door to true self-acceptance and inner peace. Believing you are enough is not just an affirmation, it's a way of life. It's a daily practice of reminding yourself of your worth, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. It's about releasing the need for perfection and embracing your authentic self, flaws and all. When you truly believe you are enough, you create a foundation for a life filled with joy, self-love, and fulfillment. You give yourself the freedom to be who you are, unapologetically, and to live a life that is true to you. The way you think has an incredible impact on your life, shaping everything from your actions to your emotions and ultimately the reality you experience. Your thoughts are powerful forces that influence how you perceive the world and how the world responds to you. It's not just about what happens to you, it's about how you interpret and react to those events. Every thought you entertain, whether positive or negative, becomes a lens through which you view your reality. When you understand this, you begin to see how much control you truly have over the life you create. At any given moment, your thoughts are like seeds. If you plant seeds of doubt, worry, or fear, those emotions will grow and manifest in your life. On the other hand, if you plant seeds of optimism, self-confidence, and love, those will flourish. The mind works much like a garden, and the thoughts you nurture will determine the harvest you reap. This is why it's crucial to be aware of your thoughts and to consciously choose the ones that align with the reality you want to create. Your beliefs play a central role in this process. The thoughts you consistently hold shape your beliefs, and those beliefs guide your actions. If you believe that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of happiness, you will take actions that reflect those beliefs. You'll pursue opportunities, make decisions, and engage with the world in a way that supports your self-worth. On the other hand, if you hold limiting beliefs about yourself, such as "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed," those thoughts will lead you to actions or inactions that reinforce those doubts. In this way, your thoughts not only influence your emotional state, but also direct the course of your life. Your thoughts also affect the energy you emit. The energy you carry is like a signal that others pick up on, often unconsciously. If you constantly dwell in negative thoughts, you may find that you attract negative experiences or people who match that energy. Conversely, when you focus on thoughts of abundance, joy, and success, you attract more of the same. This is why it's so important to consciously direct your thinking toward what you want, rather than what you fear or dislike. The universe tends to mirror the energy you project, bringing into your life experiences that resonate with your dominant thoughts. This does not mean that life will never present challenges or difficulties. However, your response to those challenges is determined by your mindset. When you approach problems with a mindset of growth and resilience, viewing them as opportunities for learning and expansion, you'll navigate them with greater ease. Your thoughts shape not only how you experience challenges, but also how quickly you move through them. When you focus on solutions instead of problems, your reality will reflect that shift and new possibilities will emerge. Learning to shape your reality through your thoughts is a practice. It requires mindfulness, awareness, and patience. You may not be able to control every thought that comes into your mind, but you can choose which ones to focus on and nurture. When negative thoughts arise, recognize them, but don't dwell on them. Instead, redirect your mind toward thoughts that empower and uplift you. Over time, this practice becomes more natural, and you'll notice how your inner world begins to reflect in your outer experiences. The beauty of this concept is that you can begin at any time. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or for your circumstances to change. You can start right now by paying attention to the quality of your thoughts. Ask yourself, are these thoughts creating the reality I want to live? If not, make the choice to shift your thinking. This simple yet profound shift in perspective can have a ripple effect throughout your life. As you align your thoughts with your desires, you'll find that the reality around you begins to change in ways that once seemed impossible. Fear of failure is one of the most common barriers that holds people back from achieving their full potential. It's a fear that keeps you stuck, preventing you from taking risks, stepping out of your comfort zone, and pursuing your dreams. But failure, when you look at it from a different perspective, is not something to fear. It's a part of life, a necessary step on the path to success. To live fully, you must release the fear of failure and embrace the lessons that come with it. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the process. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of failed attempts, mistakes, and setbacks. When you fear failure, you miss out on valuable opportunities for growth. The truth is, you cannot grow without encountering challenges along the way. Each failure offers you a chance to learn something new about yourself, refine your approach, and strengthen your resilience. In fact, some of the most successful people in history attribute their achievements to the lessons they learned from their failures. One of the reasons fear of failure is so paralyzing is because it's often tied to a sense of identity. We tend to believe that failing at something means we are failures ourselves, but failure is an event, not a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback that something didn't work as planned, not an indication of who you are. When you separate your identity from the outcome, you can start to view failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end. Releasing the fear of failure also requires a shift in perspective. Many people view failure as something shameful or embarrassing, but it can also be seen as a badge of honor. It shows that you had the courage to try, that you were brave enough to take a risk, and that you are willing to push yourself beyond what's comfortable. Without taking those risks, you would never know what you're truly capable of. By releasing the fear of failure, you give yourself permission to dream bigger, to experiment, and to explore new possibilities. It's important to remember that failure is temporary, but the lessons it teaches you are lasting. When you fail, you gain insight into what doesn't work, and you're better equipped to adjust your approach the next time. Failure provides clarity, showing you areas where you can improve and helping you to refine your skills. Each setback becomes a guide, leading you closer to the right path. The only real failure is giving up entirely, and as long as you keep moving forward, you are progressing. To release the fear of failure, start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Replace negative self-talk with empowering affirmations. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm afraid to fail," try saying, "I welcome every experience as an opportunity to grow." This subtle shift in language can transform your mindset. Be kind and compassionate with yourself, knowing that failure is part of the journey and not a sign of personal deficiency. Embracing failure as a teacher also means adopting a growth mindset. When you approach challenges with the understanding that you can learn and improve, failure becomes less intimidating. It's no longer something to avoid, but something to learn from. By accepting failure as part of the process, you can let go of the fear and move forward with more courage and confidence. Ultimately, releasing the fear of failure allows you to live more freely and authentically. You stop being held back by what might go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. When you no longer fear failure, you open yourself up to new experiences, greater possibilities, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. You discover that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace as an essential part of your journey toward success. Trusting your inner voice is one of the most powerful and transformative decisions you can make in life. Your inner voice, often referred to as intuition, is a deep inner knowing that guides you through life's challenges and choices. It is a quiet yet persistent sense of wisdom that speaks to you when everything else seems chaotic or uncertain. The problem is that in a world filled with external noise, opinions, and distractions, we often ignore or silence that voice, doubting its wisdom in favor of logic or societal expectations. But when you learn to trust your inner voice, you tap into a wellspring of clarity and truth that no external source can provide. Your inner voice is always there, waiting for you to listen. It doesn't shout or demand attention like the external pressures you might encounter in life. Instead, it speaks in subtle ways through a gut feeling, an unexplainable sense of certainty, or a quiet whisper of what feels right for you. The more you practice tuning into this voice, the more clearly you can hear it. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you trust it, the more confident you become in its guidance. One of the reasons people struggle to trust their inner voice is because of self-doubt. We've been conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers, to seek validation from others, or to rely on logic and analysis to make decisions. While logic has its place, it cannot replace the inner knowing that comes from intuition. Your inner voice understands things that the rational mind can't always grasp. It connects you to something deeper, your true self, and the wisdom that lies within you. When you trust your inner voice, you honor that part of yourself that knows what is best, even if it doesn't always make sense to others. Trusting your inner voice means embracing uncertainty. There will be times when you're faced with decisions that seem unclear, or when your intuition leads you in a direction that feels risky or unconventional. In those moments, fear and doubt may creep in, urging you to take the safer, more familiar route. But it is in these moments that trusting your inner voice becomes most important. It takes courage to follow your intuition, especially when it challenges the norm or goes against what others expect. However, The more you practice listening to your inner guidance, the more you'll find that it never leads you astray. Your inner voice is not just about making big life decisions, it can guide you in everyday moments as well. It helps you recognize when something feels right or wrong, when a situation aligns with your values, or when you need to take a step back and reflect. It nudges you toward opportunities that align with your highest good and away from situations that no longer serve you. By trusting it, you create a life that is more authentic and aligned with who you truly are. Listening to your inner voice also requires stillness and mindfulness. In the rush of everyday life, it's easy to drown out that inner knowing with busyness, stress, and distractions. Taking time to be quiet, meditate, or simply reflect allows you to connect with your intuition on a deeper level. In those moments of stillness, you can hear your inner voice more clearly, guiding you toward the right path, even when it's not the easiest one. Ultimately, trusting your inner voice is about building a relationship with yourself. It's about cultivating self-trust and knowing that you have all the answers you need within you. While seeking advice from others can be valuable, no one knows what's best for you better than you do. By trusting your inner voice, you align with your true purpose, make decisions that honor your authentic self, and live a life that is true to you. Each person is born with their own unique set of qualities, talents, and experiences that no one else possesses in exactly the same way. Your uniqueness is a gift, something to be celebrated, not something to hide or downplay. Yet, in a world where conformity is often encouraged, it can be easy to feel the pressure to fit in, to be like others, and to ignore the very traits that make you special. Celebrating your uniqueness means embracing every part of yourself, recognizing that you are one of a kind, and knowing that what sets you apart is also what makes you powerful. Your journey, your experiences, and your perspective are all unique to you. No one else has lived your life, walked in your shoes, or seen the world through your eyes. This individuality shapes how you approach situations, how you solve problems, and how you contribute to the world. The beauty of celebrating your uniqueness is that it allows you to fully express yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. It frees you from the need to conform to societal expectations or the opinions of others. Instead, you can stand confidently in who you are, knowing that your uniqueness is your strength. Celebrating your uniqueness is also about self-acceptance. It's about loving the parts of yourself that you may have once tried to change or hide. Perhaps you've been told that certain aspects of your personality are too much or not enough. Maybe you've felt different from those around you, and instead of seeing it as something positive, you've seen it as a flaw. But those differences are what make you special. When you embrace them, you begin to see that your individuality is what makes you irreplaceable. You realize that there is no need to be like anyone else because you were born to be exactly who you are. One of the most empowering aspects of celebrating your uniqueness is the understanding that it is what allows you to make a meaningful impact on the world. The things that make you different are often the very things that will inspire others, bring fresh perspectives, and create positive change. Your unique gifts, talents, and viewpoints are needed in this world. When you fully step into your authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. By celebrating your uniqueness, you not only honor yourself, but you also contribute to the diversity and richness of the human experience. Comparison is one of the biggest obstacles to embracing your uniqueness. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others, believing that you should be more like them in order to succeed or be accepted. But comparison robs you of the joy of being yourself. No one else has your combination of traits, talents, and experiences. You bring something to the table that no one else can. When you celebrate your uniqueness, you free yourself from the limitations of comparison and start to focus on your own path, your own growth, and your own purpose. Ultimately, celebrating your uniqueness is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are worthy just as you are, without needing to change or fit into a mold. It's about appreciating all the things that make you different and recognizing that those differences are what make you valuable. When you embrace your uniqueness, you live more authentically, more freely, and with more joy. You allow yourself to shine in a way that only you can. And in doing so, you create a life that is truly your own. You are a unique individual, unlike anyone else who has ever existed or ever will. This uniqueness is something to be embraced and celebrated, as it holds the key to your true essence. Every aspect of who you are, your thoughts, feelings, experiences, and traits combine to create a distinct presence in the world. Often people feel pressure to conform to societal norms or expectations, to blend in or be like others. But by doing so, you lose the opportunity to fully express yourself and live in alignment with who you truly are. Celebrating your uniqueness means allowing yourself to shine as you are, without fear or hesitation. Your unique qualities are not accidents or mistakes, they are part of your purpose in life. Each trait you possess, each strength, and even each perceived flaw contributes to the tapestry of who you are. These aspects of your personality, your background, and your experiences shape the way you view the world and interact with it. When you honor these traits and celebrate them, you are affirming your own worth and the value you bring to the world. There is no need to be like anyone else because you are already whole exactly as you are. The pressure to fit in often stems from comparison. We look at others and think that we need to be more like them to be successful, happy, or accepted. But this comparison only serves to diminish the beautiful individuality that resides within each person. When you compare yourself to others, you are neglecting to see the unique strengths and gifts you possess. It is important to remember that no one else can live your life or offer what you offer. Your perspective, talents, and voice are distinct. By focusing on your own path instead of comparing it to someone else's, you can cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. Celebrating your uniqueness also requires self-acceptance. It means loving every part of yourself, even the parts you may have once considered flaws or weaknesses. These so-called imperfections are part of what makes you human and relatable. When you embrace them, you free yourself from the burden of trying to be perfect or meeting unrealistic standards. You begin to see that being yourself, with all your quirks and imperfections, is enough. Self-acceptance allows you to approach life with more confidence and joy, because you are no longer striving to be someone you are not. Your uniqueness is also what makes your contribution to the world valuable. Each person has a role to play, and your unique perspective can offer solutions, insights, and ideas that others may not see. When you step into your individuality, you allow your true self to guide your decisions, actions, and interactions with others. By doing so, you can inspire those around you, showing them that it's okay to be themselves as well. This ripple effect of authenticity can create a more inclusive and compassionate world, where differences are celebrated rather than suppressed. Living authentically means honoring your uniqueness in every aspect of your life. It's about letting go of the need to seek approval from others and instead finding validation within yourself. It means expressing your thoughts, beliefs, and creativity without fear of judgment. When you celebrate your uniqueness, you give yourself permission to live freely and fully without limitations. You begin to create a life that reflects your true desires, values, and passions, rather than conforming to what is expected of you. In the end, celebrating your uniqueness is about self-love. It's about recognizing that who you are is not only enough, but extraordinary. By embracing your individuality, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and empowerment that allows you to navigate life with authenticity and purpose. The world needs what only you can offer. And by celebrating your uniqueness, you are contributing to the diversity and beauty of life itself.